Welcome everyone to Plastic Arts Podcast, the show where we break down the video game news of the week. My name's Fonzie and I'm joined by my indie game dev co-host. He never turns down overtime back at my place, Gavin Jones. Gavin, how are you? Is that one catch you for aloof there?
For aloof?
That's a proper term. What are you talking about? I knew halfway, but when I was saying that, it was going to be wrong, but I doubled down.
This is where your nephew learns this stuff, bro.
You're actually 100% right.
That was 100% something your nephew would say.
Yeah. One thing he started doing recently as well is like I ate a vegetarian breakfast sandwich just like on a whim. And so now I'm vegan in his eyes. Like no matter what, even when I eat meat, I'm vegan. So he calls me vegan man. Yeah, he just never lets me live shit down.
This is like the time when I saw my mom drink a single beer. And I thought she was an alcoholic because I'd never seen either of my parents drink a beer before. So I'm just like, oh no, she's an alcoholic. And I was telling my friends at school the next day. She's an alcoholic. And they're like, what? She's like, yeah, I saw her drink a beer. And they're just giving me the strangest fucking looks.
That's hilarious.
You dumb? No.
Of course, you're just spilling the beans at school.
I don't know. I was a little kid, but
well, how the fuck you been, man? How you been?
I've been good. It's stressed. Work is stressful, but it's By the way, I think we should let everyone know because we were referencing your nephew. He's just I don't know what to call him. He's just like the glorious sentence mastermind. Yeah. It just flows from him like a wordsmith.
It's pretty special. Something's going on there. I'm basically like we have him at our house, and I'm almost like tutoring or homeschooling. There's a packet from school, with the whole Corona stuff. All the kids are now off school, and so there's a packet they send home, and I'm following that packet, working with them, and it's such. And this is just like a minuscule peek into what it is to educate a kid. It's crazy, man. It requires so much work. Kids are, if they need time, then you got to explain stuff over and over again. It's like, man, hats off to anyone who actually homeschools or like an actual teacher, because that is a job and a half. I didn't realize.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm just getting a taste of it.
Have you gotten to anything yet where it's challenged you?
Oh, all of it, especially like division. I haven't had to do like long form division, right?
Oh, fuck
and it's simple division, but I've had to also relearn and of course, Megan like she knows math, so she'll take both of our heads like, hey, listen here, dummies, here's how you do it. So we both go, oh, okay.
Positive encouragement. I still remember that was one of the hardest things because long division sucks, and so when we were learning how to code in I forget what the assembly. Which is like one of the most basic forms of programming you can do for a computer. And so one of my personal most challenging things we had to do in there was write code to do division. Oh. And so to do that, because a number in binary tends to be is almost always much longer than a regular number. So basically we had to teach the computer how to do long division no matter how small the number was practically, and it was just a nightmare trying to work with like just constantly moving on. Oh god, people that had to figure all this shit out. Now we're doing this just with ease, but man, the first people who worked this.
Yikes.
But yeah, been good, been playing video games, been relaxing. What you been playing this week?
I've been kind of texting back and forth with you. I finally beat RE4. That was my mission at the beginning of last week, and I just barely dabbled in last week, and so now I've come out of it, and I beat it, and I love it, man. I had a blast playing that fucking game. I really, there was extra stuff that I've unlocked to like other, not DLC, but there was like, I think when they kept porting the game, they would add new little side missions, and so now there's like 4 of them you can jump into.
What do you mean?
With like Ada Wong and Wesker, there's like these little time trials. I don't know if that was originally part of the like the base
that was
model.
Originally in it.
Gotcha. I feel like I remember hearing them adding stuff over time, but yeah.
They may have, but that game was packed to the fucking gills when it came out. Yeah. If you beat it, then you unlock like New Game Plus. Mm-hmm. You can get a hand cannon. You can get all these cool weapons. It's absolute insanity. So
I didn't realize how long the game is. I know when I texted you originally, like I all I know is the castle. So I'm like, oh, okay, I think I'm getting ready to beat the final guy in this castle. And you're like, okay, hold my beer. You got way more to go. I haven't even, sniffed the island yet. There's plenty of stuff after this. Yeah.
I was worried when I responded to that. So, for anyone who wasn't spying on our text, basically he was saying that I'm about to. There's a kid that looks like the Quaker Oats guy,
Yeah.
and I think I'm about to defeat him. So I think I'm almost done with the game. I was like, nope, you're about 2/3, and I was really nervous to tell you that because it was either going to be a reaction of, oh fuck yeah, there's more game, or a reaction of, all right, I was kind of done. I think I'm just gonna call that the end of the game. I can't for the life of me remember, do you actually fight the Quaker Oats kid?
You do, and I mean the game's been out for a super long time. You do fight him. He turns into this pretty dope, like next level monster thing, and then you fight him, and it's like he's like a one hit kill. Like he will one hit kill you. So it's kind of a harder boss battle, but yeah. And then after that, you go to the island. So it's like the last 3/4 of the game.
Yeah, I can remember that. The most memorable thing from his section was like it bugged me even as a kid at the time. The section where you're running away from the giant robot version of him. Oh, yeah. It's just so fucking stupid. Even in a game where everything is over the top, that was a little bit too far over the top.
Well, it's funny. Like I think Megan was sitting next to me. It's like you walk in, it's like, oh, I'm obviously going to fight that. Okay, I guess the timer goes off until I fight this guy. And then there is that like walking race, animation thing that happens. And yeah, it was very video gamey. The whole game is very much a video game. Like they lean hard into that, I think.
Yeah.
But I loved it though. There's definitely issues. Like when people talk about, oh, don't remaster it. It's like, oh, I've got a list of stuff that we can change, and it doesn't take away from the fact that the game is awesome. It's a masterpiece. I hear you 100%. But there's still stuff we can fix.
And it's I kind of mentioned we talked about it last week, was like, what would you change if you give them a little bit more freedom of movement? And I may have said make the enemies a bit harder, make them more difficult to fight, each individual one, destructible environments. But I was watching Game Maker's Toolkit on Dead Space, and that was one of the things you really brought up, is essentially Dead Space 1 was RE4 brought forth to the new generation. And that was basically what they did. The movement was a lot more free, but these enemies are fucking hard to defeat.
Yeah.
So if they take some notes from this game that improved upon their formula, it could be absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, I can't wait. And this is a lengthy game where it's definitely going to take the 2021 timeframe they were expecting, because it's such a big game. There's so many different, and I love the idea of them changing or hopefully updating the QuickTime events. I really did not like those fucking QuickTime events. That was a big annoyance for me, because you're just not expecting. You're watching a cutscene and then bam, QuickTime, and constantly that was happening. It was just a big annoyance.
It's interesting to see too, like how much was influenced by this game. Like if I remember correctly, Gears of War, a lot of like the context sensitive stuff and kind of your movement was inspired by it, I think is correct. And plenty of other games. I wonder how much this game really popularized sort of the set piece moment, because that's what solidified in my head. The moment on the lake, the final boss, that first time you go into the village, so many set piece moments. And then after this game, that was all over the place.
Yeah, for sure. I'm actually more interested in tackling RE5 and RE6 now, because I really did love RE4. I know they get off the rails apparently with like by the time you get to RE6, but I've been reading old reviews for RE5, and I guess it's just more actiony and not as survival horror, which I guess I don't mind. But I'm now like so invested in the story. I want to actually see this through and play all of them.
We have to, with one of those, I started to watch this review and I kind of turned it off, but someone was describing one of those, I want to say it was 6, is like the best terrible game they've ever played. But he said you really need to play it with a buddy, co-op, and just experience this garbage together and laugh your way through it. So I think that's, I gotta figure out which one that is.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely down to do it. But yeah, I mean, over the weekend, just playing that really. What was interesting to try for the first time was this game I bought it on PS3 years ago, and so it's always been there, and that's why I booted up my PS3, played that version of the game. But it's actually on PlayStation 4 using the
It's on
service.
everything.
It is, right, but like it's on PlayStation 4 using the service PS Now, which is like their streaming platform where you can stream games. So I started on PS3. I actually uploaded my save to PS Now and then grabbed it on my PS4 and played it by streaming it through that service. So it seems complicated, and it was to figure that out just because I wanted to see if I can transfer my save from PS3 to PS4, and you can. And then I started I think I played the last half just streaming it through PS Now. I did the $10 like month trial, and the game works fine. Like it's a game where you do have to be very quick with your responses and stuff, and I had no issues. And it was kind of a cool like test run for this streaming platform. I've never actually beat a game only playing it like through a stream, and it worked fine.
That's crazy. Holy cow.
It was cool to see that I'm sure it has issues, and like you have to have internet for sure, like fast internet, but like it gives me a glimpse that there is there's a future there. Like it's not going to take anything over, but like there's an alternative there.
I think the one complaint, and I'll be curious to get your take on it, but I heard from Linus Tech Tips they kind of reviewed all the streaming services, is that PlayStation Now isn't a very high resolution. I think they said it was like 720p or something like that. Maybe I'm wrong.
It's possible. So I played, it was RE4, which is probably 720 maxes out at 720p because it originally was like a PS2 GameCube game. So This one, it feels like that's probably where it maxes out. But I did try on that service Spider-Man, which is like on PS4. I streamed that, and another
it's pronounced Spider-Man. Thank you very much.
Spider-Man, and it ran great. But yeah, I think it was like a 1080p stream, so you're not going to get like 4K or something. But it looked at least better than 1080p. I don't have the best eye for that kind of stuff, but I could tell it was at least an acceptable 1080p.
Right. Yeah.
That's all relative to your connection and stuff. But been playing that, and now I get that depression of like, okay, the game's done now. Like I loved playing it. Now it's over, and I have to find something else. But what about you?
What the hell have I been playing? So it was a lot. Did I mention last week? I can't remember if I mentioned or not that I started playing some Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon.
No, that's awesome.
All right,
I never beat
started
that.
Playing. I don't know that anyone did. I started playing a little bit of that. It's got the part of the problem was I played for a little bit and I saved it. I went in, I hit save, and I left, and I came back the next day, and apparently that save didn't give a fuck because it sent me way back, and so my motivation to get back to where I was is a little down.
Right.
But the gameplay was interesting. I don't remember everyone being so bullet spongy. I don't remember the aiming being so weird. It's very soft. I feel like I'm not hitting people when I should be.
Yeah.
But I absolutely adore, and I really wish more games would do this. The reload animations are just stupid. Like you're doing flips and shit. Like even with the way you whip out the the guns, it's just ridiculous and over the top and really fun just for fun's sake. And I wish more games would do that. It's surprisingly funny. The humor is actually aged pretty well.
Oh yeah.
I mean, 80s references are still, we're still gonna get them. So that was fun. Played like 5 seconds of Darkwood, which I'll get back to, but it's terrifying.
I haven't heard of that.
It's nothing I don't think you would like. It's a horror game, top down.
Oh, weird.
And it was in development for forever. And it's just this open world survival game with a lot of stories. I gotta let my cat out.
Gotcha.
Buddy, you can't work doors.
So yeah, I'm a little bit terrified to go into it because I know at nightfall you need to like find a shelter and hunker down and try and survive the night every single night. And your supplies are going to be in a different situation every night. So it's a horror game that's very different than horror games. A lot of other horror games, it takes its horror differently. And then kind of I was playing two different Double Fine games from back when they were just making small games. So I played a little bit of Stacking, which I don't know if you remember, but that's the game.
No.
Like, the Russian nesting dolls, whatever they're actually called.
Yeah.
And it was a gorgeous game. when they were making these small games, and yeah, you can stack into other people, and each little doll has its own abilities. So you're going around these big worlds, these small big worlds, and solving the puzzle of the world using, and there's tons of ways to solve each puzzle. So it's really just sort of your creativity and a lot of freedom to solve puzzles in your own way. So it's neat.
Gotcha.
And then another small one from Double Fine, Costume Quest, which is a lot of fun. It's a story of some kids on Halloween going out trick-or-treating, and these goblins take one of their brothers, and they have to fight them, and whatever their costumes are, they transform into giant versions of those and more realistic. So like someone's wearing a robot, they turn into a giant mech. It's a lot of fun. It's really cute. The only thing I don't like is it requires 0% brain power. Absolute zero. You can just autopilot your way through. It feels like it's trying to be like a Paper Mario, but Paper Mario had more personality, although it does have good personality. And it had puzzles. You did have to use your brain to beat Paper Mario, whereas this, I just had to time my attacks.
Gotcha. So. Yeah, I'm watching a little bit of the footage, and it looks really cool, really cute. Very so Double Fine in its style. Yeah. Nice, man. Cool. Are you playing all these on PC, like on Steam?
Yeah, that's all I got. I mean, I got my whatchamacallit, but
the switcheroo.
The switcheroo.
Nice. Well, yeah, playing some games. Anything else crazy going on? I did watch. I'm not sure if you're a huge anime fan. I'm not necessarily, but I watched a take on one of like a popular anime. It's Death Note. Netflix had a movie version.
That's not supposed to be good.
I didn't mind it. It was like a live action one. I didn't mind it.
I've heard so many complaints about it because I know the original, like the anime, is very subtle, and it deals, to fully understand it, you kind of had to, I guess, understand Japanese culture really, and how I forget how they was explained, like honor is very important and the way they kind of treat these things. So the main character is a bit more relatable if you take it from that perspective, and this kind of trounces on a lot of that. But I've never seen it.
Right, I didn't have a reference point to know like where they're fucking up. It was definitely like on the strange side. I did like how the shots were filmed. Like there's a lot of cool like just like twisting of the camera and unique ways, and it was super gory. And you can kind of tell where the story was going. But I thought it was actually pretty cool.
So you don't watch anime?
Not really.
Have you ever watched like Afro Samurai?
No, I've heard it's really good. I never watched it. I've seen like clips and stuff, but it never like latched on to me. But I know people really dig it.
It's pretty cool, and it's got Samuel L. Jackson voicing most of the characters. I didn't realize he did that because Samuel L. Jackson is a giant weeb. I had no clue. So
I didn't know that either. That's awesome.
Yeah, there you go. Some news.
We got some news stories here. The first one I have pulled up is about GTA 5. So we got some confirmations, very little news, but some confirmation that we can theorize what's going on, but also about Rockstar's culture. So Jason Schreier of Kotaku has an article here. So 18 months after Red Dead Redemption 2, Rockstar has made big cultural changes. Rockstar appear to be having a positive impact on the company. So this is in reference to those changes. There have been high-profile changes at the top, including the departure earlier this year of co-founder Dan Houser, but the heads of Rockstar Studios in California and Lincoln, England have also been replaced, as have other executives who are allegedly contributing to the negative culture. Yeah, one employee interviewed for the report said management is now running the company like a company, while others said it seems like a healthier culture overall. So that was the focus on that deep dive that Jason Schreier of Kotaku had. But also they've been more public through that interview about the fact that they're switching gears to full force with GTA 6. So Rockstar, some of the blurbs here, Rockstar's next game is Grand Theft Auto 6. It's still very early in development, years away. It's currently targeting a more moderate, less ambitious scope that expands through updates. The plan is to, quote, to start out with a moderately sized release. This will then be followed with regular GTA 6 updates over time. This is from that same Kotaku interview. How do you feel about that? I feel like they sell every year. Like it's just the game that keeps on selling, keeps on giving. But it makes sense to now switch gears to that next gen version.
one thing I'd like to say, so it says 18 months after Red Dead Redemption 2, Rockstar has made big cultural changes. I think that's something that's fair to point out, is that it does kind of show you how long it can take to make these changes. These companies really have to dedicate themselves. They have to be in business to make culture changes. They're hard. A lot of people are even in these companies because they like these cultures. So that's kudos to them. That's fucking hard.
Do you think part of it is also waiting for the turning of the guard? Like they mentioned, Dan Houser has left, and then these other big studio leads in California and England have left as well. Do you kind of also have to pair that with waiting for the people that maybe are problematic to actually leave? And like I wonder if you have to wait for there's like this right time to strike to kind of like change over a culture.
It could be. It could. I know they were kind of in a lot of hot water. Yeah, I just don't know. I think it definitely helped. I think it helped.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, that's good on them. That's a big deal.
Right when Red Dead 2 launched last year, there was that big expose talking about the really bad crunch and just like super weird, gross culture stuff going on. So yeah, it's good that they are switching it over. I mean, then they're a huge company. They're arguably the biggest developer. I mean, they at least like sales wise, they have the biggest movement, and you see them no matter what. So like yeah, it's a big deal.
Oh yeah, it doesn't matter what they sell. They could put out a bar of soap and it'll sell millions. It's not
for sure. So now, how do you feel about some of the GTA 6 stuff tied to this?
I don't know how to interpret the sentence. Current target a moderate, less ambitious scope that expands through updates. These guys have consistently had one of the biggest scopes in gaming. What does this mean to them? What in context of them? What does that mean? Is this like normal people size games?
Right.
It's hard to quantify that to them, and I'm personally okay with it. It'd be nice if they did, like, if they're doing something smaller, like space wise, like a smaller city, can we have it be that much more packed to the gills with stuff?
Right.
Is that doable? I know
that's
really
personally
know.
what I always wanted with, like, as we proceed into the next generation. I want more density rather than just expansion with stuff. But yeah, is a chicken in the next door again? Oh, okay.
Sorry. Sorry, everyone.
One thing I'm also wondering is about that phrase there too, that they're targeting a more moderate, less ambitious scope that expands through updates. I wonder if that to them means they usually wait 8 years, 9 years before they release these next big things. So like GTA 5 came out 2013. And so this next one, I imagine it's going to be a good size wait for it. They typically like to wait a long time. Maybe it's a reference to that, rather than wait for for a huge release. They can actually start to allow episodes or something like that, where it just kind of expands content and it keeps people buying it early on, and then they can just keep adding episodes or updates to it, to something like a GTA 6. I wonder if that's a route they could possibly take.
It's definitely possible. I mean, really anything's possible with them. Something that springs to my mind is when the people at, I forget who makes Halo games now.
It's 343 now.
343. Okay, I was thinking of 505.
Oh.
One of the things they mentioned with this new Halo engine that they said is extremely powerful is they made their tool making tools stupid easy to make. So any designer that has some idea for a tool to help them make their own content faster can make that tool stupid quick. So I almost wonder if they start smaller, but their tool set is so good that when they want to keep expanding this stuff out, they can do it lickety-split really quickly and really empower all these super awesome developers they have at Rockstar. And that's just one of these things that Rockstar has in spades, is talent.
Yeah.
So much talent.
I imagine, for sure. Yeah, I feel like I can't wait. I love to see like just the tech, the way they push the tech with these open world stuff. But I think I gravitate more towards like the Red Dead story, that kind of story, versus the GTA.
Right.
It always gets nuts and off the rails, but that's their whole thing. That's what they love to do. But yeah, well, it's at least a couple years away. GTA 5 came out 2013, so I mean, we'll see maybe 2021, 2022 at the earliest. But I think this is definitely, we're gonna wait for this next one.
Yeah.
As we have.
Yeah.
But so moving on down, we got some PAX West news. This was in the news today, and it's a bit of just a weird setup, and we'll try and pick this apart. But PAX West is still being planned for September. This is Andy Chalk of PCGamer.com. The COVID-19 pandemic has forced the cancellation of multiple industry events and conventions for 2020. Despite that, the Penny Arcade team is still planning to hold PAX West this September, at least for now. Quote, we tend to be pretty quiet this time of year, but since we've had some questions from fans and exhibitors, we wanted to let everyone know that as of this moment, we're still planning on putting together a great PAX West this coming Labor Day weekend. We will be updating our website and more information on badges and hotel registration in the coming months. Quote, our first priority is always your safety, and that extends to issues of public health. As the year progresses, we will continue to monitor the situation and work with health officials at all levels of government and intend to follow all CDC and WHO guidelines as they are released. And they keep going with that same sentiment. Gavin, do you think this is going to happen? It seems a bit weird.
It's when is it? September?
September, yeah. Labor Day weekend, September.
I need my calendar. Do you know I can't put all my months in a row in my head?
What? You're insanely smart. You can't do that? Interesting.
I'm not insanely smart. I have to like, especially if I need to coordinate like a number to a month, I have to run through them every time.
Well, we got
is this September?
Yeah, September. We're in April. We got May, June,
5
July,
months?
August, September.
If we buckle down and really kill this thing, Corona, it could be doable.
Maybe.
That's 4 months away, dude.
It is, but it seems like the narrative is like if once stuff does start to like open up, it's gonna be with the whole 6 feet distance guidelines and the masks, and the idea of like the petri dish that
5 months from now.
That's kind of what I'm seeing, but it could go either way for sure. I guess if we all like if we keep this kind of instilled like quarantine, maybe we completely eliminate that curve. But it seems like online people are very negative on this response. But maybe do you think it's good on PAX to just like be hopeful that it's possible in September?
I mean, personally, I think it's realistic. From my perspective, again, that's 5 months from now. If we do a good job, that should be fine. But yeah, I'll be curious to see. If I were them, I'd try and have like a smaller one, because I imagine attendance is still going to be a little bit lower. I heard reports. Now I haven't fact checked this, but saying in wherever it came from in China, Wuhan. I don't remember how it's spelled or pronounced. They're saying, people are supposed to be going back out and going to these restaurants, but people are still scared to do it. So it's going to be a little bit before everyone's unafraid again.
Sure.
But I don't know. I think it's doable. Yeah. I don't see why people would be super upset at something 5 months from now. But I could definitely be wrong in the future, but I would put money that I will not be wrong. That's gotcha. My current stance. But it's scary for all these developers, though, because we mentioned this with all these other conventions. They spend so much money building all these big plastic things and these big booths. It's expensive to travel out there and to cancel plans from these other ones. So I imagine a lot of these people are going to be a lot smaller booths, a lot not as exciting, maybe not have announcements prepared for it. That's going to be okay. It's a convention for gamers to go be gamers, so let's just get back kind of to our roots. That being said, PAX is a full-time job for a lot of people at the Penny Arcade Company. There's a person whose whole job is to find new sites for PAX.
Really?
So this is a lot of people that have been struggling. This is a huge moneymaker for them. So not having one of your big moneymakers that probably requires most employees out of that company. Because the original Penny Arcade was what? The two guys and like their lawyer, like a publicist, like not that many people were in that company. And then PAX kind of came along. So
gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm hopeful that, I would love to see everything turn around by then. So fingers crossed, what we can beat this thing. We can just keep chanting America at it, and then it'll go away or something to that extent.
Chances of actually happening are a whopping 0. All right, let's get your opinions on this. I'm very curious.
On the quote from Jason Schreier?
No, just the whole thing.
I do think that I'm expecting it to not happen. I would imagine that I'm expecting that we won't see any kind of big live events until at least 2021. It's maybe more doom and gloom, but I feel like the progress is so slow moving in that direction that before we even open stuff up again, it's got to be the 6 feet, it's got to be the mask, which is fine, and then eventually because you're gonna want to avoid like just large groups of people for a good amount of time, and I feel like I don't know if it's enough time by 2021 to really allow for remove the opportunity of like people gathering to like spread something like that. But I'm hopeful that it's sooner than that. But that's what kind of in the back of my mind, that's what I'm thinking. Like maybe 2021, they start opening up that stuff again, that possibility of having like these large scale events. Yeah, we can have restaurants and stores open. That's going to be the next thing to slowly open those things up. But I feel like the big, comedy shows, concerts where people are literally just like rubbing against each other, sneezing, sweating on each other, that might be like the last thing that we actually get to have.
Yeah, it's weird. I'm like, I could go for a straight up fucking rave right now. Like, and I hate crowds, but I'd go for it. I'm gonna see you again, bud. You're getting a big old hug. So that's.
Hey, yeah, I same here. I mean, although I feel like that love of people, it's gonna die for me after the first day. But that first day,
absolutely.
I'm gonna be really anticipating and just like lovey-dovey. But after that,
it only takes like a few hours to drain those social batteries. But ooh, like when we do that hop, I think that hop festival thing we do.
Yeah, that's dope. I really like that.
That's gonna be my highlight of next year for us, or for me. Anyway,
that could be on our memory board that we'll place. So we got some news that's tied to Corona stuff, and we'll try and get out of the more of the Corona talk. But Sony plans limited PlayStation 5 output in first year. So this is from Bloomberg. Takashi Mochizuki writes, Sony Corp plans to produce far fewer units of its upcoming PS5 in its first year than it had for the previous generation console's launch, according to the people familiar with the matter. So the global Corona or COVID-19 pandemic has affected Sony's promotional plans for the new device, but not its production capacity, they added. The company has told assembly partners it would make 5 to 6 million units of the PS5 in the fiscal year ending March 2021, according to other people involved in the machine supply chain. When Sony released the PS4 in 2013, it sold 7.5 million units in its first 2 quarters. So to back out of the article, so they're going to make 5 to 6 million for the entire year of 2021. And for the first 2 quarters of the launch of the PS4, they sold more than that, 7.5 million at least. So it's going to be a shortage for sure. It's going to be rough for sure. But to jump back in, Sony's strategy, according to several people familiar with its plans, will be to rely on PS4 as a bridge to get new users into the PS5 or into the PlayStation's platform network services while the PS5 remains in limited supply. Another weird ripple, or a wrinkle rather, was recently it was forced to reveal its DualSense PS5 controller in a hurried fashion.
Forced to?
Yeah, so in a hurried fashion, according to people informed on the matter, while only a small circle within Sony are privy to the appearance of the PS5 console, the controller has been shared with outside developers, and the company feared it couldn't control leaks, they said. So really they were seeing possible leaks happen, so they just decided to show off the controller to stay ahead of the conversation of the narrative. But they weren't even planning on showing that DualSense when they showed it, but they haven't showed anything, so it's very strange that they weren't even planning to show that off. But
this definitely does go to show that that weird V shape that the dev kits are in is nothing like what the actual system is going to look like.
Yeah, probably not. I was hoping for it because I love how weird and just it reminds me of like a Lamborghini or just something annoying.
The butterfly doors.
Yeah.
Oh, I see what you're saying with Lamborghini. It's that bit where you see the giant,
some kind of like weird Porsche thing. I'm hoping somebody will 3D print me, like a shell mod I can add to my PS5 in the future. But yeah.
Put a spoiler on it.
Yeah. Just a huge obnoxious spoiler. But yeah, no, it's interesting that we're gonna so on the production side, they are gonna be able to handle somewhat of a capacity for PS5, but they're not gonna be able to make way nearly as much as they'll need to handle demand. So it's gonna be rough launch. Like people are gonna get it, but very few people are gonna get it.
Right, and that's gonna be so strange because it's always hard to get consoles at launch, but it's never been extra hard for a long time, so it's going to be really strange. It'd be nice if they, I don't know how to set up like Microsoft, where you could buy like your next gen games and play them on your current system, and then when you do finally get your new system, you just put the same disc in and you get an upgraded version, probably with your same saves. Boy,
That's
it'd be
true.
convenient if they had something like that going on.
That's very true. Xbox is in a nice situation, nice position to offer that. Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
It is interesting because one of our next stories is a lot of detail about the fact that March was a super just like boom for the video game industry. They sold across the board consoles, games. So like the industry is very healthy. So assuming that can keep going all the way to the holiday season, there's going to be huge demand and not enough consoles to supply if that industry stays healthy, if people are still buying things like they are right now.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll get into that. The last thing beside the whole Corona stuff is just Death Stranding PC has been delayed. IGN's Jordan Aleman writes the details. Death Stranding PC release has been delayed to July 14th due to a temporary closure of Kojima Productions. Kojima has tweeted the actual details here, but just kind of end on it. Death Stranding's PC release was initially set for June 2nd, the date being revealed back in early March. So it's roughly a month to push it. It's not the end of the world, but this was the PC release of Death Stranding. But yeah, it's happening. This is to be expected, I guess, with all the Corona stuff. But yeah,
it's happening.
Now, Gavin, I don't know if you got to read any stuff or watch any stuff, but Fallout 76, came out last week, the Wastelanders DLC. I have a little blurb from PC Gamer. Christopher Livingston writes some impressions, but have you got to watch any streams or anything like that? I haven't played it yet.
I watched a decent amount of streams of it. Yeah, it's
What are you thinking?
It's a lot of mixed feelings on it. One of the biggest complaints I kind of hear about it is like, so this is a Fallout game where you're kind of forced to play with other people, but it doesn't really take advantage of that. And adding in a more single player story definitely doesn't remedy that mixed design that the game currently has. But that being said, it's surprisingly pretty, this whole game. And watching people build, like I saw somebody working on a house and their house looked nice. So I'd probably be willing to give it a shot, but I know you also have to invest a huge amount of time.
Gotcha.
Which makes me nervous.
Yeah, you mentioned the beauty of it. That's one thing that caught me by surprise the first time seeing 76 footage was they're really trying to make this more of a unique Fallout experience with Fallout 3, even Fallout 4. It still had that kind of drab to the color scheme, and this one really changes it with the environment. Like you have these different not environments, but like these different almost seasons, because it's right when the bombs drop. You have a little bit of vegetation going on. There's all these different like colored areas. I really dig that they were doing that, but I didn't play enough to like fully develop like an opinion on it. But I liked that at face value they're trying to change the color scheme, trying to like make it a little bit more unique as far as the visuals go.
One of the things I do like that this game kind of got right, but didn't get all the way right. I was watching this one video essay on kind of why Bethesda doesn't really understand Fallout. One of the things they brought out is the fact that different areas of the United States are not supposed to have the same things. Not everyone's going to have. Now, I'm sure that some of this, what I'm about to say, is wrong, but not everyone's going to have the Brotherhood of Steel, or not everyone's going to have Death Claws, or not everyone's going to have Mirelurks, or different species and factions. And in the Bethesda games, everyone has everything. And this, while it certainly brings a lot of that stuff, it also has its own unique creatures based on the area, and that's what we need way more with these Fallout games is something more unique.
Right. Yeah, you're totally right. Like the actual monsters in the area are relative to that area with 76, and I really appreciate it. There's a lot of like cool concepts that are unfortunately stuck to 76 that are, it's a bummer because they're really neat ideas, really cool ideas, but they're tied to the whole, always online, like that multiplayer aspect of it. But yeah, with Wastelanders, this is them trying to insert some single player because there's a big demand for it. I really need to actually jump in and try to just see how it feels. I have a little breakdown from PC Gamer just to get a perspective. Christopher Livingston writes, mostly though, I'm happy to just talk to the new humans with Fallout 76's new dialogue system, which is thankfully closer to the system in Fallout 3 than Fallout 4. I can't say yet how deeply the dialogue choices have an impact on the story, but there are lots more options than the pick one of four system with Fallout 4. Sometimes there are so many choices you have to actually scroll down just to see them all, and having lots of dialogue options to choose from makes me feel like I'm more of a real character too. Having human NPCs and dialogue choices makes a huge difference in 76, especially if you're a solo player. I still like Fallout 3, New Vegas, and Fallout 4 better, but with the Wastelanders expansion, 76 finally feels like a Fallout game. For players who have been away for a while, it's a much better and more complete experience than it was at launch. Fallout 76 feels like Fallout, and all it took was filling the world with fake people instead of relying on the real ones.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what I expected too. I feel like you can't really go wrong adding the single player content. You can still go fuck off in a group and do multiplayer stuff. But yeah, I'm hoping they kind of, I guess, not learn their lesson. Like maybe if they're going to split off, do a multiplayer thing on the side and then still do the dedicated single player. But I don't see why they have to exclude or like counteract each other. You can have these separate versions of Fallout if they choose to do that.
I mean, there's a reason this isn't Fallout 5.
Right.
So we have to remember this is a side game.
Yeah.
It is interesting. I mean, he says he likes 3, New Vegas, and Fallout 4 better. So, I mean, the question is almost, it seems like this is almost like a kind of just an okay Fallout game, but is a just okay Fallout game better than a majority of the games out there?
I'm sure
I
it
don't
is.
know. I need to play it.
Yeah.
But, I mean...
I think just with the caliber of Bethesda, it's probably better than most of the stuff out there just because it's has their polish on it. But yeah, it still has its issues. I wonder if like as we have time away from its launch, if it was always intended to be multiplayer, or if from the top down they thought, well, we can actually make so much more money by having these different things you can buy, this DLC, these little transactions, where let's just go that route because there's more money to be made. But rather not focus on the fact that style of game with Fallout, it doesn't serve like that. It would benefit from that. And so they're almost like shoehorning it in when that's not what really players wanted. Like it's not the best call maybe that was made.
Right. I mean, it definitely seems like when this game released, it was mostly what the players didn't want. So
yeah,
I don't know. It's definitely a lot of backtracking. It seems like they were really trying to squeeze money out of this one. In what I would consider an unfair fashion. I know it's hard to make money off of video games, but I don't feel like they did it in a good way with this one. Yeah. But I don't know. Hopefully they can save it. I would love if they can save this. The thing I hear, it's not a Realm Reborn. This is not a complete 180 from Fallout 76 vanilla.
Yeah.
But it's a good start.
That's good. And I imagine with these kind of games as a service, or if that's the proper term, it's like they have to have the legs, and you have to kind of commit years to kind of follow through. So you have to wait for next year to see what comes out. It's like, yeah, this is kind of a long-term thing. So it's not going to be a fix that's overnight. It's got to be incremental changes that really update it. But yeah. So Gavin, let's go to the next story here. We got some news with Epic. So Epic calls out Google as Fortnite heads to Play Store. So this is Andrew Smith, IGN. After 18 months of boycotting the Google Play Store, Epic Games has given in and put Fortnite on the Android App Store. Up to this point, Fortnite was available on Android devices through a third-party platform, but not through the Play Store. In a statement to IGN, Epic called out Google's practices towards third-party software sources, saying that hopes Google will revise its policies and business dealings in the near future. Epic does not note that it will continue to support Fortnite. Epic does note that it will continue to support Fortnite on Android devices through its third-party software, but it will also be making it available on the Google Play Store to avoid Google's efforts to, quote, outright block software obtained outside the Google Play Store. Similar to Steam, the Google Play Store takes a 30% cut of revenue from all developers. In 2018 of December, Epic launched its own gaming store, which only takes a 12% cut from developers, leaving them with significantly more profit than Steam. To jump out of the article, Gavin, how do you feel about this? Does it matter at all? I feel like Epic was trying to kind of hold their own and not give in to the Google Play Store to, I guess, maybe control revenue, and it seems like they have to just kind of play ball and join.
Yeah. If I understand it correctly, Google Play is maybe the only platform where you have to share your DLC revenue. So, I mean, because the game is free. But yeah, I think they have to get a chunk of your DLC revenue, which is probably the issue they're taking.
Gotcha. And that's what Fortnite, that's got to be the majority of it, right? It's all
that's
transactions,
all of it.
right? Yep. So
yeah.
It's a bummer, but it's also a game that's making so much money. It's like, but I guess at the top, from the top down, they don't want to give in at all and make less. So, but it's also you want to be on one of the bigger platforms, and so you gotta commit at some point. But
right. And I don't know if Apple has that issue either. I know Apple's got its own issues, like the whole Microsoft xCloud thing. When you run that on Apple, you can only have one game, because if I understand it correctly, they don't like having a marketplace within Apple software. You're not allowed to do that. So they can only have one game on there.
Interesting.
It's strange.
Yeah.
These whole mobile marketplaces.
I didn't tell you, I have no experience with Apple products, but I'm actually jumping in for the first time. I ordered one of the newer iPhones, so it's coming soon. And I will give it a shot. I'm going to be stuck with this phone, so I'm going to have to figure it out one way or another, but it's going to be my first foray.
Why the Switch, out of curiosity?
So Megan, my wife, has had one for a while. She made the switch from Android to that, and she digs it. There's a newer iPhone that they announced, which is like a cheaper version of the newer one, has the same insides, but just a smaller case. And it seemed like just a cooler way to jump in. I want to try it. I still have my Google Pixel whatever 2, which is pretty old now, but it's like I can always just like revert back to that if need be. But I want to give it a shot. It's I feel like I can't live my whole life without actually trying it, so I'm gonna try it.
Right, yeah. It definitely takes some getting used to. I know every time I had to use my mom to like help her fix something, I just can't where are the buttons?
Right.
How do I do anything?
Yeah.
So
I'm going to be same boat and be watching a lot of YouTube videos and go down the rabbit hole, but we'll see how that goes. But I'll be the trendiest cool kid around. So we'll see.
Trendiest.
It's another
Sounds
word
like
I'm
a weird
to.
butler. Come help make my eggs trendly.
That's a cool name. I'm sticking to that. Okay, Gavin, we got this one's interesting. So this is March 2020 NPD sales, which sounds boring at face value, but it's a lot of cool like indication with where the industry's going. So March 2020 NPD, Animal Crossing powers March to blockbuster game sales. This is VentureBeat. Jeff Grubb writes and breaks it all down. So March wasn't a good month for anyone, but it was slightly less awful for people who sell video games. With people in the United States isolating themselves for much of the month, many people obviously turned to safe at-home entertainment. As a result, consumers in the U.S. spent $1.5 billion on gaming hardware, games, and accessories, plus game cards, according to the March 2020 NPD report. That is the most March money the industry has generated in NPD's reporting since $1.8 billion in 2008. So that's the biggest, most successful.
That's a fucking stretch.
Yeah.
What happened in March 2008?
Interesting. So I'm not sure. I don't have that pulled up, but that's the biggest March since 2008. So nothing has beat that March year after year. So in terms of game sales, this was the best March of the generation. The PS4 and Xbox One launched in 2013, the Wii U in 2012, and Switch in March 2017. But last month beat all the previous March periods in terms of game sales, going back all the way to 2012. So big new games like Resident Evil 3, Doom Eternal contributed to the strong month. But if you had to pick one game to represent March 2020, that's easy. Let's talk about Animal Crossing. So he has a quote here too as well, breaking down just how I didn't realize how insane Animal Crossing is selling, but it is. So Animal Crossing,
even though it doesn't have China.
Interesting. Yeah, you mentioned that. Last week they had issues with that. Yeah. So we got Animal Crossing: New Horizons was the best-selling game of March 2020 and the second best-selling game of 2020 year to date. Animal Crossing: New Horizons achieved the third highest launch month physical dollar and unit sales of any Nintendo published game in tracked history. Among Nintendo published games, only Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, December 2018, and Super Smash Bros. Brawl, March 2008, debuted with higher physical software sales in a launch month. Maybe that's that 2008 that was a big one. I'm going to repeat that for everyone in the back. Animal Crossing New Horizons had a better launch month than any Mario or Zelda game since the NPD started tracking. It is now obvious that this series stands among Nintendo's most important. Call of Duty Modern Warfare was the second best selling game of March 2020, and it's now the best selling game of 2020 year to date. So yeah, I mean, strong industry, strong sales. Animal Crossing is just beating everyone else to death. I mean, they're really selling, and yeah, I think even there was a point last week where they were reporting like really low shortages of Switch itself, like the actual console itself. So I think this is a system seller. This is a seller on its own. It's a pretty big deal. I just didn't. I know it was big, but I didn't realize this is like the next, up there with Zelda, with Mario kind of thing.
It's weird to think about. I mean, to be fair, it's a game that brings in people who don't traditionally game, or maybe people who don't game regularly.
Right.
But it brings those people in, young, old. It just brings them. And it's a great thing when we're socially isolating right now, when you can go visit your buddy's island and see what they're doing.
It's very true.
It has,
It came out in the right time too, because you can rely on the social aspects of the game. Yeah. It appeals, just like you said, to such a broad audience too, like hardcore gamers and casual gamers, and it's on a platform that people already love the Switch, want to buy a Switch, so it gives you a reason to do it. It's super cute, so it's just a perfect time, and also a great game apparently.
It is crazy too, though, because they definitely didn't plan around the coronavirus, but they couldn't have planned it better.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely benefited them for sure. Yeah. So I mean, we're gonna see. Are there any Animal Crossing characters in Smash at all?
You're cutting out.
Oh, sorry. Are there any Animal Crossing characters in Smash?
Yeah, so there's trophies. There's 2 characters. There's Villager, and I don't remember what the other character is named. She's very similar to the Villager. But some of her moves, I want to say her moves are a little bit more powerful. I mean, she's supposed to be just different, but so 2 and some assist trophies and whatnot.
Gotcha. Maybe because it's so successful now, they can just have a Smash that's only New Horizons characters, only characters from Animal Crossing.
Characters look too similar. It's gonna be like Smash with the fucking the Fire Emblem characters, where they all look alike.
Or we can all just take turns beating the shit out of Tom Nook. I know, from what I read, everyone hates how you instantly are in debt to him, from the get-go.
Right. Well, the second you pay for your house, he builds you a better one, and you're instantly in debt again. Fuck off, dude. Right. I was fine with my little house.
Oh man!
Oh goodness!
Yeah. So what's interesting too? So the top 10 games of the year so far, and there's a big rundown of all the biggest releases. RE3's in it at number 7. At number 6 is Grand Theft Auto 5 again. So this thing, no matter what, is just like a juggernaut. It's so insane to be 7 years now from its release, and it's always top 10 monthly, yearly. It's pretty insane.
That's an insane amount of money to be making. Yeah. I can't comprehend how much money they have. That's up there with, weirdly enough, Gary's Mod and all these other things that just don't stop selling. Minecraft, I can't imagine having a franchise that just makes endless amounts of money like that. I mean, this is why Rockstar can have these games with it. There are no budgets on these games.
No, it's good. Hopefully that a lot of the money is going back into the budget and being the reason why they can create such crazy experiences. But yeah, you mentioned Minecraft. As far as the sales go with GTA to date, they've sold 120 million copies, and that's sold, not shipped. And the only thing to beat that is Minecraft at 176 million copies sold. But I would say the Minecraft's been around for a bit longer, for a couple years longer than GTA for sure. So, but yeah, those are the 2 juggernauts there at the top.
Goodness.
Yeah. If they can give us a taste of that, a piece of that, I'll settle for just, a couple bucks here if they can front me some money, but we'll see.
I did, speaking of Minecraft, did I see that the RTX thingy is out for it, so you can now play it with your ray tracing?
Right, that's cool. There's no way I could play this. My laptop just instantly, falls over if I think about it. But yeah, that's enabled, right? So people can now start playing with that RTX mode. Can your rig, experiment with that? Can you kind of
now
dabble
in beta?
I don't know. Gotcha.
Buddy, I'm running Blood Dragon on almost low, like,
and it's like audibly like just chugging along the whole time.
Yeah, which is strange because I could swear I ran that on high back in the day. Same with Far Cry 3, but.
We got some Far Cry news too, Gavin. Let's. I'm going to scroll down to that because last week we covered the tweet, the tease, but close to that. So Crysis, we covered that tweet last week. They actually the next day came out and said, "Hey, we have a remaster coming out." So were you bummed? Did you want like a new entry? Are you satisfied with at least just like a remaster? How do you feel about this?
I'm bummed only in the sense that I was wrong because I made a call, right? I threw the basketball and looked the other direction. Okay? Yeah, I called that shit and was confident, and I was wrong. So that's the only reason I'm bummed. I'm 200% fine with a redoing of this. I was watching Digital Foundry's. They did like a podcasty thing where they talk about how tech has changed, some of the tech they have, some of the stuff that they're using in games like whatever the fuck it's called, Hunt the Showdown, which I realized when they showed footage of that, I've never seen that game on high settings. Every streamer I always watch to get the most performance is playing Hunt the Showdown on the lowest settings. So that's why I thought that game looked just okay. But no, it looks fucking gorgeous.
Yeah.
And they've had their own software based ray tracing-esque. It's like a volume map. I don't know if that's the right term, but a volumetric ray tracing thing for years. That's been pretty darn good. And can do certain things that RTX struggles with, and so somebody in the Digital Foundry video is saying that they heard a quote that if they can combine that with RTX, it's going to be like 4 times faster and better, and it's just going to be absolutely drop dead gorgeous, incredible. So all these fascinating techs that they have, to a certain degree, in some cases better than other people. But this game still has lots of room to improve. Well, I don't know about lots, but it's got room to improve. And it was fun to begin with. So this is going to be really incredible. They also did go over why. I didn't realize why old Crysis was so hard to run. It's kind of designed around something that they thought was going to be a popular hardware thing, but was not. Gotcha. I think it was like single-threaded, very powerful single-threaded CPU power, as opposed to doing a lot of multi-threaded stuff, which I, as game developer, have no idea how to even do a multi-threaded game. Not even a clue. I'd have to do all my stuff single-threaded anyway. So, but good on them for bringing all this technology to the future. It's going to be absolutely gorgeous. And they even showed stuff that the developer, I didn't realize there'd been a CryEngine game on the Switch, which they brought up. It was called Warface, which is legit CryEngine.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they showed it, and it looked pretty fucking good.
I played about like 5 seconds of that because it's like free to play.
Yeah, it's free to play.
Yeah, it runs cool. I kind of like lost interest from it. I didn't have any character to it, but it was a unique first person shooter that's on the Switch. Like there isn't a lot of them there.
Yeah, so they've got more talent behind this team than they know what to do with. That's always been the thing, despite the fact that I feel like Crysis is known for its graphics. It backs it up with really fun gameplay. So, and there was the theory people weren't sure. Right. There was some wording on there that was a bit confusing, but this re-release of Crysis may include Crysis Warhead, which I've been told from my friends that played it is basically a fantastic game in its own right. It's sort of a retelling of Crysis 1 from a different perspective, and the story is still really good. So that's a lot of fun.
That's cool. I'm very interested also to see this running on the Switch. I feel like it's we're kind of come full circle to be that with Crisis started being that whole phrase of like, can it run Crisis? Can your PC handle Crisis?
Right.
And now to have it on the Switch would be just a cool thing to actually like a good triumph.
I'm really nervous because, like, watching the old footage, there's so much physics going on. And when I think of physics on the Switch, I think how the first thing that they did with The Witcher is tear out a ton of that foliage because it can't handle all those physics. So
yeah, maybe the balance is for Crysis. There's just 5 trees and that's about it, and otherwise everything else is there.
Yeah, but. It'll be cool, and I think there's a lot of people that never actually played Crisis 1 that are gonna
I never finished
go back and
I never
experience
finished it. It's one of the things that I always meant to play. I think I actually bought it on PS4 or like I think it was maybe PS3 360 at the time, like a port of it. But I'm definitely interested in jumping into that. Nice. So we'll jump back.
You want to jump back to Super Mario Maker?
Yeah, let's talk about that. So we got Super Mario Maker, the final DLC announced for it. It's a pretty substantial thing coming out. So this is Adam Bankhurst of IGN has the details. Super Mario Maker 2's final update adds World Maker mode, Koopalings, Super Mario Bros. 2, Mushroom. We have Super Mario Maker 2's final major update arrives on April 22nd, 2020, and will add a new World Maker mode, all 7 Koopalings, a Super Mario Bros. 2 Mushroom, the Frog Suit, Super Acorn from Super Mario Bros. U, the Boomerang Flower, the Cannon Box, the Propeller Box, and more. The World Maker mode will allow players to create up to 8 worlds that contain up to 40 of their courses, which can all be shared with others. Course icons can be changed, and bonus stages are available, including the moving picture matching game. Players can create a path complete with warp pipes, bridges, hills, and more, and can place their levels on them in any order they wish. Each world can either be underground, desert, snow, sky, forest, volcano, or outer space themed. Furthermore, players can name their game after themselves, like the example given of Super Ellie World. The Super Mario Bros. 2 Mushroom will turn Mario into himself from, Super Mario Bros. 2. It's only available in the Super Mario Bros. Style, but allows players to ride on and pick up / throw enemies, as was done in Super Mario Bros. 2. That's pretty dope, but it's a substantial, and this is a free update from what I understand.
Haven't they all been free?
I think so, but like this one seems like it could be something they would, I guess, charge, but I guess
then
not.
You're going to divide up the community.
Gotcha. That's pretty dope. Yeah, I know that was one of the common issues. It would be great to link your levels all together to actually make some kind of like campaign kind of thing where you can an overworld and you can interact that way. So this seems right in line with that.
Make it get harder as it goes. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I can't wait I haven't jumped into Mario Maker in a while, so I'm definitely once this goes live here, I'm definitely gonna give it a shot.
I think the one thing I really could give a shit about is the Koopalings. Because if you fight him once, like you're not going to want to fight him again. Sort of unnecessary. It's been interesting seeing the community. It seems like so far they're really positive. I was reading through some comments earlier. One of the big complaints, I didn't realize the complaint was as big as it was about like Link. You look at Link, and the fact that once you get hit, you lose that power up, and you can no longer rely on those gameplay systems, and you really have to really work your levels around the fact that you have to be able to get this power up again. And that's the complaint I'm hearing about Super Mario Bros. 2 movement is, it's going to be that again. You get hit, you lose it, the whole level's fucked up.
Gotcha.
So it really would be nice if they made Link or Super Mario Bros. 2 movement more permanent. On top of that, people were kind of mentioning like, okay, so we've got this, so why not add Peach's movement or Luigi's slightly different movement, or no one cares about Toad, except for the
so the characters from Super Mario Bros. 2.
Oh, there's some. Do you remember
I think that
Power
shoots the eggs
Thirst?
out of its mouth. What?
Oh, Birdo. No, do you remember Power Thirst from back of the day?
Sounds familiar vaguely, but no. Was it a fighter kind of like?
No, it was just some dumb video that someone made. But yeah, somebody made a video about how beating. Anyway, they said, Toad gets all the bitches. But
I don't disagree with that.
But yeah, so it'll be interesting. My concern about the world builder is, it's cool that you can like thematically build these worlds and make things get tougher as time goes on. But one of the reasons I heard people from the Super Mario Maker community want the world builder and I think this is very important, is that in Super Mario Brothers World and a lot of these, like there are keys that you can put into switches, which opens up alternate paths and can take you different ways, and you can open up these secrets. And it doesn't currently look like that's going to be there. And I feel like stuff like that is really what gives these games a lot of heart. It would be amazing if you can, change the weather based on something you did, like you could. Well, I don't know if it was weather, whatever you want to call it, in Super Mario World, changing things, accessing secret areas. That would be amazing. You'd have people really dedicating and digging in, and you thought it was cool when people made one Zelda dungeon. They're going to go fucking nuts with this if they had that ability to really affect all these things. So it's almost there, and they're calling it the final update, which makes me think that's not coming.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's true, because if they're not going to add anything post this, then that's right. Yeah, you're right. That's a bummer. I didn't really factor that in. That you're not going to have the extra keys, extra paths you could take. Like, that is part of the charm, and that's you wish that they could do something like that. Maybe, I'm sure people will figure out a way to just trick the game into like technically allowing you to jump around, like just like how people have done like point and click adventures with Super Mario Maker 2. Like, they've created these just crazy ways of taking it and just making the tools bend around them. So I'm hopeful that somebody will figure something out. But yeah, nice, Gavin. So yeah, we'll see what happens there. I mean, I'm super stoked. We'll see if I pick it up for longer than like 2 hours. I mean, I really didn't put much time into Mario Maker. It's a solid game, but just for some reason didn't play a lot of it.
Right.
So we got some Valorant news. This is more info on the cheating thing and how they're dealing with it currently. So Valorant developer was caught off guard by how quickly cheaters appeared. This is Matt Perslow of IGN.com. Riot has revealed why its new anti-cheat system for Valorant runs all the time on users' PCs, even when the game is not being played. Riot's Paul Chamberlain explained why it is important to have the anti-cheat kick in the moment you turn on your PC. In short, it is impossible for cheaters to run any cheat software before the anti-cheat loads up, which is a common way cheaters exploit other anti-cheat solutions that only run when a game is active and know it's not spyware. This is good for stopping cheaters because a common way to bypass anti-cheat systems is to load cheats before the anti-cheat system starts and either modify system components to contain the cheat or to have the cheat tamper with anti-cheat systems as it loads, he added. This hasn't prevented early hackers from breaking into the game, however. This has happened much sooner than Riot had expected. To be honest, I was caught off guard by how much interest there's been in the game and how quickly cheat developers turned their attention to us, Chamberlain said. My estimate before launch was that we'd see our first real cheats within the first 2 weeks of the beta. As it turns out, I was optimistic, and instead we only had a few days of quiet before we had been working at full steam ahead. Riot is now offering $100,000 as a reward to hackers who can reveal the security weakness in Valorant's anti-cheat software. How do you feel about that, Gavin? It seems kind of strange, but maybe it makes sense to keep the anti-cheat stuff always on.
No, I mean they've got a point. It's one of the ways you can help prevent it, and it means that cheaters would have to go to even further drastic measurements and have, cheats that start before this does. So they're gonna have to restart their PC if they want to have their cheat software, which is a lot more effort than I think a lot of these people are willing to go to. Right. It's also surprising considering how hard it is to get into this beta. That people would be willing to risk it. Now, I wonder, they say they see these cheaters already. Are they banning them? They're still putting out this reward for if you can bypass it, so are they maybe not banning these people? I don't know how that's gone with their policy. So it's very interesting, and it certainly shows their confidence that they're willing to submit so much money. That being said, it's Riot. Like $100,000 is nothing right for them. They will. I mean, their contracts. You get money from them if you quit the job within like the first month or so. Nice. So it's interesting, and I wish them the best. The thing that's, I think, always going to make people nervous, and I could see the government stepping in here, is, so this is an always-on thing that's hanging out in the back of your computer. You almost think like TikTok, right? Like TikTok's constantly running on your phone, whether you're using it or not. And much like TikTok, Riot is owned by a Chinese company. Now, TikTok's a little more obviously nefarious about what they're doing. They're blatantly taking your phone's data and sharing it with people. Gotcha. This, we don't know. Probably not. I hope not.
Yeah. But could their system also be exploited by another third party to then, use the fact that it's always on? Like, is that possible too?
Ooh, that's a good question. You asking the good questions. Could be.
Now I'm going to go do my taxes on the TikTok app. But other than that,
right. I'd be curious to see some professional pen testers really dig into this thing and see what kind of damage they can do. And that could be totally one of them.
Gotcha. Well, we'll see how that unfolds. I have the next article here is related to cheating as well. This is a Call of Duty Warzone console players opting out of crossplay due to PC cheaters. So Matt Fowler, also of IGN, has some details here. As reported by Eurogamer, console players are running up against PC cheaters in Battle Royale because of Warzone's crossplay feature. And as a temporary fix, the console gamers are turning off the feature completely, which is no easy task itself. At the beginning of last week, Infinity Ward tweeted out that they'd banned so far 70,000 accounts worldwide as part of their zero tolerance policy for cheaters. The issues persist, however, as console gamers generically unfamiliar with the problems PC gamers face from cheaters are now exposed to the madness of PC chicanery. How do you feel about that, Gavin?
Problem when your game is free.
Yep. Yeah, that's and I think console players are getting a taste of that's a constant thing, and the PC world is just like managing that. There's always that battle between cheaters, and I guess it's just less common in console form, where it's harder to implement those same cheats on a console unless you customize it yourself or something like that.
Right. I mean, but a lot of times, customizing your own hardware on your Xbox or whatever is going to brick it. So
right.
Yeah. No, that's. I mean, I'm surprised so many people were doing crossplay with PC anyway. PC people are going to be destroying console people most of the time anyway. I didn't realize the cheating problem was that bad. It seems like when I'm watching people on Twitch, it doesn't really look like they're dealing with a lot of cheaters. But I guess I don't know. When I watch Apex Legends, I don't see a lot of cheaters on Twitch. But when I play Apex Legends, they're all cheaters. So. I don't fucking know. Maybe they just get banned before they get to those higher elos with the big streamers. But
maybe.
Yeah, that's definitely frustrating that it sounds like they were subjected to that. I still think it's not a great idea to be mixing them unless they're playing with a friend who's on PC to begin with.
Sure. Yeah, it's very true. And I wonder if there'll be some kind of like not balance or just like a reaction back the other way with as it's on paper, it's great that we can all have the option now to play together and crossplay is amazing. But then we realize, okay, maybe we do want to have some like option here to choose these environments, where there's PC against each other or console, vice versa. Like, I think maybe we'll realize that in the next coming years.
Be interesting to see.
Yes, it will. Gavin, something that's not interesting to see is this special edition Xbox One with Cyberpunk 2077.
Ooh, that's,
you set it up and I just knock it out.
That transition, though.
So, Gavin, there's a Cyberpunk 2077 special edition Xbox One X. They just showed off the picture of the console and even the controller is special. How do you feel about it? We talked a little bit about it. I'm also of the sense that like it doesn't do it for me, but also I'm not maybe the best person to talk about with special edition consoles. I traditionally don't like them. I kind of like unless it's more of a solid kind of color scheme, I'm not really into it.
I would be curious. So I hate it. But aside from the controller, I think the controller looks fucking dope. But as far as the console itself, what's the zeitgeist saying on this one? Because I really don't like this.
So interesting. On Twitter, I found a lot of people saying like, oh, take my money now. I dig this. Really liking how unique and just not rough, but like how it's leaning into that whole cyberpunk aesthetic. They dug it. I don't personally like. I would maybe prefer like a bunch of neon and like just some kind of other color scheme. It's maybe even more like Fallout as you look at it, like at face value. But yeah,
sure. I don't know. I mean, the No Future Samurai thing looks kind of cool, but is that the downside on the Xbox? Are you never going to see that part?
True. Yeah, that's a more interesting part of it to me as well, and I think that's actually the bottom of it. So that's a bummer. Yeah, you're right, because it has a gray, and then the actual blue and yellow is like the thing that wraps around it. So yeah, I think it's And I actually don't like the controllers. I think we're kind of backwards on it. Like,
Really?
yeah, it doesn't do it for me. But I think traditionally I don't like special edition stuff. Like, it just never really scratches my itch. Like, yeah, even I think maybe the only one that I've actually ever dug was maybe the Spider-Man PS4 that came out a couple years ago. It was all red. It's like a glossy red with the white Spider-Man logo on the front. That actually could look kind of dope. But other than that, I just haven't seen a lot of cool ones that speak out to me. But
I feel like if you're gonna play with this controller, you need to be wearing the one glove, just for the one side.
you need what? I didn't catch that last part.
Just the one glove.
Oh, sure.
Michael Jackson style.
Yeah. Yep. What's interesting with this article as well is that Xbox has said this is their last special edition for the Xbox One X that they're going to make. So they're going to make 45,000 units of this, and then that's it. Not in general Xbox Ones, but just the special edition Xbox One X's. And so the theory is this is them kind of, after this production, gearing more towards now we can start producing the Series X in full mass. But yeah.
Right, that's going to be interesting.
Yeah, we're getting closer to them having to do something like that. So yeah. This one, it's actually in the story. There's an LED somewhere on the console, which is not stock. So they added an LED here somehow on the front face of it, which is interesting. But yeah, otherwise it doesn't do anything for me. I'm sure there's people out there that dig it, but yeah,
right.
Not really a fan. But yeah, as we go down here, one of the big ones you have here was so this game called THICC Climbers. I'm gonna boot up the trailer here too, if you want to give me an intro to this.
Yeah. It's gonna speak for itself. I kind of told you before the podcast. We'll hit play at the same time, but so I saw this ad on Facebook, and it was called Thigh Climbers. So I'm like, sold. Take my money. Brilliant name. And then I watched the trailer, and now I'm just mad that they spent money on a Facebook ad for this. And it's like, I get it, it's your money, but this is bad. It's trying to be. I feel like it's trying to be so bad it's funny, but it just looks bad. So let me know when you're ready to hit that play button on this hot pile of garbage.
Yes, I'm at 0. I'm gonna hit play. We'll count it off 1, 2, and on 3. I botched that countdown, but it's currently playing. I'm at 4 seconds now. Yeah, I'm turning on the sound a little bit here. Cool song, or cool like background music going on so far. We got
There you go.
Okay, some environment stuff. I don't know what the fuck is going on. They're in space. We got some aliens, some goopy green stuff. Okay, the snowboarding, maybe.
Environment's looking lazy.
Wow, it looks rough. Like just the character models, like very rough. I don't know why they're doing these squat motions, but
if this was your game, is this all that's for that trailer?
Wow.
Okay.
Is it just them doing the squats?
Let's do you see in the top right corner, do you see Thigh Climbers trailer 2?
Yeah.
Okay, click on that and we'll start at the same time.
Otherwise, it was like 10 more minutes of them just doing that, like up and down.
Apparently. So that showed you nothing. That didn't show you the game. That just showed you.
Gotcha. No, yeah. I hit play already. I'm at like 8 seconds, 9 seconds here of this. Same beginning, at least showing the environment, right? Like you got the different color schemes.
Right.
There's a lot of neon.
Let's get to this.
Same song. It seems like they use the same background music. Okay.
Yeah. It shows
early access. Now the song's I'm getting into it. Now I'm feeling it. Oh, interesting. So you're climbing a pole with the inner thigh, like just your inner thighs.
With your thighs, yeah.
Which is impossible. Okay. What about your hand? There's there's a power meter for your hand and your inner thigh. You have to use them.
What about your hands, Fonzie? I don't know about your fucking hands.
Because the character doesn't you're not seeing them
they're showing your lower leg.
Yeah.
When this is all about your thighs. Where's my thighs?
That's true. It's like your calf.
This is a game about climbing a pole with just your thighs. Occasionally you dodge rocks.
Wow.
This is one of the worst things I've ever seen. It's not so bad it's funny, it's just bad.
Yeah, it doesn't reach that like Goat Simulator like plateau. It's just bad.
Yeah,
it's pretty depressing. Interesting. And you said they spent money on a Facebook ad, and you're thinking like, hey, you should not have used that.
They're not gonna get that money back. It hurts my soul. It really does.
Yeah. Well, I can't wait for that to launch. I'm really we'll see. I want to review this and get into depth on it. All right. So yeah,
Right.
actually, yeah. When this comes out, we do have to try and play. It's almost like you play with like the Ring Fit Adventure.
No.
It's like I feel like you could pair the input with like some kind of cool, unique way to actually play the game.
What is wrong with you?
I'm trying to spin
you do
it
the
into
ring
something.
and you squeeze it with your thighs.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
It's just a smaller
So this
ring.
next article, I don't have an article to pull up with this, but I pulled a double take when this pulled up in my news feed. Apparently, Facebook revealed a game streaming app again. Isn't this the third time revealing a game streaming app? What the fuck is happening?
Yeah, they had one with like Farmville and some of the other quintessential like Facebook games right at the beginning.
No, like Twitch style, like Twitch live streaming app.
Oh, gotcha. As a platform, gotcha.
Yeah.
So I did pull up. This is from New York Times. Here they have a breakdown of it. Facebook to introduce an app for gaming. So it looks like Facebook plans to introduce the Facebook gaming mobile app on Monday, the social network said, in its most decisive move in the video game business as people seek entertainment during the pandemic.
They do VR shit. That's more device or anyway.
That's true. This looks like investing in gaming in general has become a priority for us because we see gaming as a form of entertainment that really connects people. Head of Facebook app Fidji Simo, who reports to the Silicon Valley company's chief executive Mark Zuckerberg, it's entertainment that's not just a form of passive consumption, but entertainment that is interactive and brings people together. So, yeah, the company tested the Facebook gaming app in Southeast Asia and Latin America over the last 18 months and plans to release it on Google Play Store for Android devices. But yeah, the actual pictures show you're streaming. It looks like a platform. You can follow streamers. You can jump in and follow along. And this is them kind of trying to set up against Twitch, right? And set up against like Mixer, those platforms.
I guess.
Right. I guess they got the money to throw at it and see what works. And if it doesn't, after 2 years, they just pull the plug again.
It's just so strange. I feel like I'm pretty sure they've already done this. You can do it anyway. I remember when Facebook was trying to make moves, they were paying people to leave Twitch and stream on their platform, like Mixer did. I'm sure they gave a lot less money than Mixer did, but I remember it being a big deal. There were some big name people that went over to Facebook Gaming or whatever it was called. Yeah. So I don't know. It's just weird. Like you've done this before, and you're trying it again and pretending like it's something new. What are we doing here, Facebook? What are we doing?
Yeah, I guess you're right. I'm hopeful that if they do then throw a bunch of cash at different streamers, like, hey, come over here, I'm hoping some streamers can make a quick buck. And then when this fails, like it seems like it's going to, if it's nothing new, then they just go back to whatever platform and keep it moving. But hopefully some streamers can make a quick buck off of this.
Yeah, it's too strange. I'll be curious to see if they throw more money at people this time than Mixer did. We'll see what goes on.
Yeah, it depends on how much money they're willing to, because it's a commitment. You got to really put a lot of money in it and then wait. You got to be willing to have the time to see it through. And I don't know if Facebook, I mean, they're notorious for not doing that. We've seen them enter the space and then leave it. So,
yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Now, Gavin, the Saboteur exists. Explain this to me, please.
So I want to throw this out there. And nobody at home is going to know why I'm bringing this up, but I believe it was probably our last time we did our podcast live and in person. I think we were hanging out in your kitchen afterwards, and I was trying to describe to you this game where you're in Nazi occupied France and you're trying to like liberate it. And when you're on like your section, your side, it's all in full color. And when you're on the Nazi side, it's in black and white with like streaks of red until you liberate it. Oh. And you and your wife were trying to make me think I'm crazy and that this game does not fucking exist. But if you look at this thing, it exists. I think it was good. I'd have to look that back up, but I'm not fucking crazy.
Why would I tell you that a board game doesn't exist? I think I would have understood that.
It's not a board game. It's a video game.
Oh, okay. I'm kind of Googling this
it was
on the
a big
side.
thing.
I'm finding like board games of it. But I spelled it. I spelled it Saboteur, but it is. Is it Subtour?
Saboteur game. It's the Saboteur.
Gotcha. Let me.
So you'll probably even remember like the box art when you see it. I remember it being really cool because in the demo I played of it, you could climb all the way to the top of the Eiffel Tower, and then jump from the top and try. If you landed in the pool right next to the Eiffel Tower, which I don't know if that's actually there or not, but you'd survive.
This is interesting. So I'm watching footage. It's like an open world, and are you actually in this in Germany, in like Nazi occupied Germany, or you mentioned?
I think you're
Tower, though.
No, you're in France. Yeah,
Okay,
you're in France, Nazi occupied France, and you're trying to liberate it. And just how cool like the black and white with splashes of color style is, and then be liberating it, bringing forth that color. Man, does this look like a game of its era though? Like are these all? None of these are 1080. This is like old television squish. It looks like I want to say 360 maybe.
So I somehow managed. I'm following the trailer, and I somehow managed to see like this weird stripping cutscene. But otherwise, like it reminds me a lot of like a
When in France,
almost like an Uncharted, like that style of motion capture, like first Uncharted, and then like GTA style, like movement around the world. I've never seen this game. That's interesting.
And I think it was a pretty big. I don't know if it got rated well. The Saboteur review, maybe. It got like a 76 on Metacritic, 7.5 on GameSpot. So it was an okay game. Yeah. And I still hate that like a 7.5 is like an okay game, but
did you play this?
No, but I'm just saying I'm not fucking crazy. So there we go. Well, I like the screenshot.
I'm gonna add layers to your craziness. I don't think I ever told you that this didn't exist, but that's
you definitely did.
See, I don't feel like I did, but okay, because it's not even a game I even knew existed to even fight you against. That it was a thing.
Now I'm almost wondering if it was somebody else. Maybe it was Joe.
I think it was, because it's like I would believe you that this is a game. But
oh, I do. There's a screenshot of them like shooting down a Zeppelin. I forgot about that. That was fucking cool. I think you could get up in those.
Oh. Was this so it looks like the 360 PS3 like that time frame?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I would assume so. Anyway, well, apparently I'm not proving this point to you, but not crazy people.
Gotcha. Well, I won't fight you on that guy. I like you. I like the idea of you just picking a fight with me about something I never said and never disagreed with.
This is like if you did something in like one of my dreams,
exactly,
and I'm gonna be mad at you for it.
100%.
Oh my god.
Alrighty, Gavin. Well, yeah, that's it for this week. We'll end it there. Where can they find you on the interwebs?
You can find me on the Twitters. Occasionally, I repost things.
Nice. And you can find us on Plastic Art Pod on Twitter as well. That's it for this week. We'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye.